I got my own brother kicked out of the family for something he didn't do, and I'd do it again. My phone rang at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. My mom, Linda, sounded like she could barely breathe. Someone stole our retirement fund. Every penny. $200,000. Gone. I threw on clothes and drove straight to my parents' house. When I walked in, the living room looked like a courtroom. Dad, Paul, sat rigid on the love seat. Mom dabbed her eyes with a tissue. My brother, Ethan, sat in the corner with his head down, like he already knew how the story would end. My uncle Richard paced in front of the fireplace, voice loud, hands cutting the air. It had to be someone with access to the account, he said, stopping to point at Ethan. And we all know he's been struggling with money. The room went quiet in that way where everyone's thinking the same thing, but no one wants to say it. Ethan lifted his head and looked at me. He was terrified. I didn't take anything, he said, voice cracking. You have to believe me. No one answered. Mom wouldn't even look at him. Richard crossed his arms like the verdict was obvious. Ethan had made mistakes in his 20s. Debt, bad choices, borrowing from our parents. But that was years ago. He had a steady job now in his own apartment. He wasn't perfect, but this didn't fit. How much? I asked. Everything, Mom whispered. Retirement, savings, even the emergency fund. Over 200,000, moved out over the last 3 months. 3 months. That meant it was slow and careful, not a desperate smash and grab. If Ethan stole, it would have been messy. This felt planned. I opened the banking app. Years ago, my parents added me to the accounts just in case. I scrolled the transfers, forcing myself to look at each line. The amounts varied, but the security log was consistent. These transfers all came from the same device, I said. The family computer. For half a second, something flickered on Richard's face. Then it vanished. That computer's been there for 10 years, he said quickly. Anyone could have used it, but the device ID tied every transfer to the office computer at the family business. The one in Richard's office, the office he kept locked, the computer 10 feet from his desk. I didn't accuse him. Not yet, because here's the ugly truth. I didn't defend Ethan the way I should have in that moment. I let the room tilt against him because Richard had already called everyone and planted the idea that Ethan did it. If I came out swinging, Richard would cover his tracks. So I let my brother get pushed out, temporarily labeled guilty, so the real thief would stay comfortable. For days, I tried to get someone in the family to listen. Richard had gotten there first. He'll make up stories to protect Ethan, he told them. Every conversation ended with the same warning. Stop making it worse. Then I found what Richard didn't expect me to notice. The timestamps had been altered. Not just edited, altered in the metadata. The transfers were adjusted to look like they happened when Ethan was visiting our parents, but the original times were during business hours, when Ethan would have been at work across town. Someone changed the evidence after the fact to frame him. I copied everything. Screenshots, exports, logs, and waited for Saturday, the anniversary dinner. The whole family would be there, including Richard, smiling like he owned the room. At dinner, people laughed too loudly, like noise could drown out what we all knew. Richard played host, relaxed, and untouchable. After dessert, I stood. I have something to share about the missing money. Richard didn't even blink. Let's not ruin the evening with conspiracy theories. I opened my laptop and set it on the table. Then I showed them. The real bank records, the offshore account with Richard's name, the altered timestamps beside the originals, his digital signature on every transfer. The room went dead silent. Mom leaned forward, staring at the screen. That's your account number, she said slowly. I recognize it from when you helped us set up the business. Richard's face shifted. Panic, anger, calculation, too fast to hide. Then my cousin Noah stood up. I was with him when he found the files, Noah said, looking straight at Richard. On your computer, in your office, during Friday's board meeting. Everything erupted. Chairs scraping, voices overlapping, people demanding answers. Richard tried to bulldoze through it. I built this business, he shouted. I gave everything to this family. I wasn't going to let it go to waste on your retirement. Then he said the part that ended him. He would have survived prison, Richard added, jerking his chin toward where Ethan should have been. He's young, but if people found out, the business would collapse. Everyone would lose everything. My mother stepped forward, trembling. You stole from us, she said, and you were going to let our son go to prison for what you did. Richard looked around for support. No one moved. My dad walked to the door and opened it. Cold air rushing in. He pointed outside and said 5 words that ended everything. Get out of my house, now.